Let's talk a little bit about prepositions in Tamil. Prepositions are words like of, in, to, for, with, on, at, etc. These are basically words that you would use to link a noun to other parts of the sentence, like a verb. For example, you would say, I am going home, um, or I am going to the office. The word to is the preposition, and it links the noun, which is the office, to going, which is the verb. In Tamil, instead of the prepositions being standalone words, they are suffixes to the noun themselves. For example, if you wanted to say I am at the office, um, or in or at the office is basically office la. If you notice, um, the word la, which means in or at, is a suffix rather than a standalone word as it is in English. Another example um, is with friends, is friends kuda. For me is எனக்காக, where kaga is the word for. Though it's depicted here as a standalone word, when you say it, you say it as if it was a suffix to the word எனக்கு, which means me. So, again, to summarize the first slide, the basic takeaway is that in Tamil, prefixes are basically, in Tamil, prepositions are basically added as suffixes to the nouns themselves, as opposed to being standalone words. Before we go on to look at a few examples of prepositions, let's take a look at a basic list of vocabulary. Non is the word I. If you wanted to say I am going to the office, you would say நான் ஆஃபீஸ்க்கு போறேன். Non is the word I. It's common to drop the trailing n in the word and just say na instead of the word non. But the correct word that is non, and as you get more advanced, you can drop the n at the end of it and say na ஆஃபீஸ்க்கு போறேன். வீடு is home or house. We will see a slightly different form of the word வீடு, which is வீட்டு, but it is again just how you speak, and like we talked about earlier, this is just colloquial Tamil, and but general essence is வீடு is home. Po is go. If I wanted to ask you to just go, I would say po. Porain is am going. It is when you're talking about, or one is talking about oneself. The opposite of this is va. Va means come. If I wanted to ask you to come towards me, I would say va. Varain is I am coming. Again, it is when I'm talking about myself. If I wanted to say I am coming, I would say nan varain. Nan is I, varain is am coming. Irku is the word is. If you wanted to say I am fine, you would say nan, I, nalla, which means good, irken, which is am or s. I skipped ahead of myself a little bit. Well, irken is am. It is in the same genre as porain or varain when one is talking about themselves. Again, as an example of the word irukku, if you wanted to say this is good, you would say idu nalla irukku. Idu means this, nalla means good, irukku means is. Let's take a look at a few examples of prepositions and what they translate to in Tamil. We'll also go through a few examples of sentences and how to form sentences using these as suffixes to the nouns. The first preposition we're going to look at is the word in. In or at in Tamil is the suffix la. Um, for example, if you wanted to say I am at home or I am in the house, um, the equivalent form in Tamil for both these sentences is நான் வீட்டுல இருக்கேன். நான் is I, வீடு is house. Again, like I mentioned before, in colloquial Tamil, when you join words, the pronunciation changes very slightly. For now, it is absolutely not wrong to just use the original form of the word, and it is completely fine to say na வீடு la இருக்கேன். That is not wrong at all. But in colloquial Tamil, as you get more used to it, this is how sentences are formed, and you will realize that. But coming back to the sentence, நான் வீட்டுல இருக்கேன். நான் means I, வீடு means home or house, la is at, இருக்கேன் is am. So the sentence literally translated means I home in am. If you wanted to say, let's look at the second example, which is if you wanted to say I am in the office, you would say நான் office la இருக்கேன். Again, நான் is I, office is well office, la is in, and இருக்கேன் is am. Speaking slightly fast as a coherent sentence, you would say நான் ஆஃபீஸில் இருக்கேன். நான் வீட்டில் இருக்கேன். That's our first example of preposition, which is in or at. The second preposition we are going to look at is to. To is the suffix ku in Tamil. A few examples. I am going to the show. நான் ஷோக்கு போறேன். நான் again is I. ஷோக்கு is to the show. போறேன் is going. நான் ஷோக்கு போறேன். It is common to when you speak in Tamil, when you're joining the words show and ku, you would typically say ஷோவுக்கு போறேன். So it's almost like adding a u between the word show and ku. So it's almost like saying நான் ஷோவுக்கு போறேன். Second example, I am going home is நான் வீட்டுக்கு போறேன். We looked at a similar example in the previous sentence, in the previous slide. Again, you use it is completely fine to say நான் வீடுக்கு போறேன். நான் is I, வீடு is home, ku is the word to, and போறேன் is going. The third preposition we are going to look at is for. For is the suffix kaga in Tamil. Again, the usage of this prefix is very similar to the usage of this preposition is very similar to the previous two that we saw. If you wanted to say this is for my wife, you would say இது என் wife-க்காக. Again, let's analyze that a little bit by bit. இது is this. Yen is my. Wife is, well, wife, and kaga is for. When saying this as a coherent sentence, you would say இது என் wife-க்காக. We talked about this in the previous slide as well. When you join two words, you typically tend to add a u. It's almost like இது என் wife-க்காக. But to start with, it is completely fine if you ignore that. You could just say இது என் wife-க்காக. That's fine as well. This is for my friend. இது என் friend-க்காக. Again, you tend to add a u at the end. இது என் friend. Instead of saying just friend, you would say friend. இது என் friend-க்காக. This is for you. This is slightly different in which the two words are collapsed. Um, idu is this. I've looked at this before. Um, unakkaga, which is collapsing two words, which is unakku and kaga, and we join those two words together and say idu unakkaga, which means this is for you. Um, Again, we'll look at more examples and of sentences like these and how words collapse together to form single words as we go along in the following videos. But I just wanted to put an example in about how words collapse. But the important takeaway from this slide should be that the word for, or the preposition for, is the suffix kaga in Tamil. The last one we are going to look at in this video is the preposition with. With is the suffix kuda in Tamil. Again, the usage is absolutely similar to the ones we saw before. I am with my friends is நான் என் friends கூட இருக்கேன். Again, you typically tend to add a small u here. Friends கூட இருக்கேன். Instead of just say friends, you say friends. Breaking it down, நான் is I, yen is my, and friends கூட is with, இருக்கேன் is the word am. Well, those are a few examples of how prepositions, which are standalone words in English that join nouns to the rest of the sentence, are changed to suffixes of the nouns themselves in Tamil. Instead of going through a whole list of prefixes and giving you the translations, we will look at them as we go along in the following videos as examples. It might be easier to learn. I will also put together a deck of vocabulary, probably as Anki cards, and that should help you memorize these. But for now, there's a bunch of examples, most of which we just talked about. You can go through these and also go through the deck of vocabulary. That's it for this video.